questions in between or at the end, please feel free to ask. So I'll share two things with you. This is for your understanding of how you have to do. Most of you have done your assignments before, and you've submitted assignments, so you know what pattern we follow. But for those who haven't previously attended the sessions, or they've not submitted an assignment before with us, so that's okay. I'll just go through what particulars are required. So I'm opening up the brief, the assignment brief. I hope you can see my screen clear. Yeah, and thank you for everyone who's joined. By the way, I know you all are also you're busy and you're working, but this is for your own good, because if you have any questions, you ask there and then, and it's cleared out. So this is what you have. So this is your assignment brief. Your assignment details are mentioned here. This is how you have to do your assignment. Okay, this is the document on which you have to do your assignment. So this is this has your student name, your center, which is UK Versity, your tutor's name, which can be my name. The unit title is a brief history of medicine and health. The subject is health studies. This is the unit code. The assignment title will be the same, basically. And the word count is up to 2,000 words, okay? Just leave this as this is, okay? And then this is the student declaration. So there's some pointers mentioned over here at the end of which you have to be signing here at the end and mentioning what your actual word count is. So we expect 2,000 words. So what is your actual word count? It can be plus or minus 10%, but not beyond that. Please make sure. The rest is to be signed by the teacher and to be completed by us. Is that clear? I hope that's clear. Good morning,
Yes,
everyone
please.
who's joining now.
Morning.
Yeah, yeah. Matilda, you have a question?
No, please.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So you use this Word document and you mention all what the requirements are over here, and you sign over here at the end. Okay, that's about how you have to do your assignment. I'll just start sharing my PowerPoint slides for the assignment discussion. Just a minute. Again, any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Um, so, yeah, I hope you can see my screen. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Thank you, Matilda. Yeah, so the unit title has been mentioned over here. So it's a brief history of health and medicine, the unit code. So I'll take you briefly through what the learning outcomes were. This is just as a slight revision of what we had talked about earlier. So we had asked, we attempted to make you understand the concept of healthcare in the 18th and the 19th century, in which you should be able to now summarize the patient knows best approach to medical treatment in the 18th and the 19th century. 1.2 for LO1 asks you to explain in detail how the dissection led to the practices now and in modern medicine. 1.3 is to evaluate the importance, of rise in the laboratory medicine in hospitals, and 1.4 clarifies what is meant by the germ theory. Okay, that's learning outcome 1. And learning outcome 2 was to understand the changes in medicine that brought about today's concept of doctors know best approach. So the first part is about the first learning outcome revolved around the patient knows best. And the second bit is about the doctors know best. So here you to summarize this way in which key individuals contributed to modern medicine, such as Lister and Pasteur. You have read this in the documents that were shared with you, and some of them we have gone through in the sessions. 2.2 is to explain in detail how the invention of key medical implements and machines advanced medicine. And number 3 is to analyze how the advances discussed in criteria 1.2, so these were the criteria that we mentioned, through 2.2, sorry. So from here till here, how did this make medicine move from the domain of the patient to the domain of the doctor? Okay, so these are the learning outcomes that were discussed. These were the things that were discussed with you. Now, coming towards the assignment brief, I need you all to focus on this. So there are 2 sections of this assignment brief. Okay, section 1 requires you to create a timeline. So when I say to you that you have to create a timeline, it does not mean that you have to write too much extensively about it. It's just bullet points that in, let's say, 1910 this happened, 1911 this happened, whatever significant things you think happened or happened in history, in which you will document the history of health and medicine within the United Kingdom. Okay, so we are not talking about the rest of the world. We are just talking about United Kingdom, the UK. And this will address criteria 1.4, 2.1, and 2.2, which we have already discussed over here. Okay. So in line with these criteria, you will create a timeline. Again, I said the timeline has to have bullets, bullet points, not bullets, bullet points, sorry, where you would show the dates, the specific dates, and very briefly mention what happened in those specific dates within the United Kingdom with regards to the history of health and medicine. You can make use of the documents that we have provided to you, the reference material, and also of documents on the internet. Okay. Section 2, I'll elaborate more about on section 1 and section 2. This is just an overview. Section 2 requires you to produce a formal academic report. And section 2 touches upon 1.2, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 2.2 of the learning outcomes. Okay, so the first is a timeline. The second is an academic report. Is that clear to everyone? Can we move forward? Yeah. So coming towards more details of section 1. So section 1 was a timeline, okay? So you had to create a timeline in which you document the history of health and medicine and you explore key developments. Okay? So your timeline can be produced on Microsoft Word or on Microsoft PowerPoint. That's up to you. In your assignment, in this section 1 of your assignment, you should include examples of who contributed to modern medicine with annotations to explain their contributions. And you should be able to give a date and explanation of Louis Pasteur's germ theory of disease. Okay, so some of these might be out of the UK, of the United Kingdom. Remember, we had talked about the United Kingdom. Some of them might be in Australia, in America, in some other part of the world. That is okay. But you should focus majorly on the United Kingdom. So if there's someone who was not a part of the United Kingdom, a scientist who was very famous, for instance, who is not a part of the who does not represent the United Kingdom, you should still mention their name. Okay, but United Kingdom should be mentioned more specifically. A date and explain, oh, this is mentioned already. So the dates and details of the creation of a range of medical machines. Okay, so what medical technologies or appliances or what like what revolutionary equipment was produced or developed, and you would want to give an explanation as how these contributed to contemporary medicine. Okay, so there are two things in your sorry, in your timeline. You're giving dates uh, for contributions of important people, uh, and then you're giving dates of an explanation. This requires a bit more explanation because this is very important. This is a major breakthrough that happened. So you will have to give this explanation further. And then you will also give dates and details of the creation. So this is part of this actually, but this is just a pointer that you can add to your assignment where you would want to give a range of medical machines and explanation as to how these contributed to contemporary medicine. How did they change the way medicine was working? This should be around 500 words. Okay, section 1 with the
Um,
timeline. Yeah,
sorry to cut you off. Just a little clarification.
yeah.
So the section one, what you've given us, is that the actual assignment question we are dealing with?
I didn't get you, sorry.
The slide, the initial slide we were on before you brought this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the actual question we are having?
Yes. So I've given very briefly, I've talked about section 1 and section 2 on these two slides. And now
Mm-hmm.
I've elaborated further on section 1 and then moving on to section 2. So that was just
Okay,
briefly. Yeah.
so please, sorry for the
No, no.
section one.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you have 3 points that are all saying we should give dates. So, for instance, if I go and I get a reference like 1740, which
Mm-hmm.
talks about all the three questions, am I
Mm-hmm.
supposed to put all in one paragraph or I'm supposed to split it off?
No, so every date should be separate, ideally. So if there's okay, so I think what you are saying is if there's one date and three significant things happened on one date, then that date should,
Exactly.
yeah. So that date should be one and just put uh sub bullets. So like I'll tell you. So this
Okay.
is a, yeah, this is a bullet point and you can have sub bullet points here. So if this is a date, you have all these bullet points that happened on these dates. Okay,
Yeah.
you can use a timeline where you can if there's something in that timeline that a lot of things happen. For instance, you giving an explanation of what happened, or you this explanation will obviously require more. It will take more words of yours. You will then I what I would do as a student, I would use a separate PowerPoint slide, for instance, or a separate um, page for that, and then I would
Okay.
start from the next page.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
if, yeah, no problem. If there's just one event that happened on a specific date, you would then not use only one slide, but it's up to you. If that makes your life easier, it makes more sense, or it makes you more organized, or it makes you feel that your document is more organized, it's totally up to you. But what we do is, like, if there's this Lewis Pasteur's germ theory, I would give it more explanation. So anything that has the word explanation, like here or here, you would want to explain further and talk further. So if you, obviously, if you can't explain a lot of stuff on PowerPoint slides, what you can do is use notes over here. So you have notes over here, I've written down here. So you can use notes also. So if you're not writing everything on your PowerPoint slide, you can have it as in your notes as well. Okay, so that's all up to you. You can use PowerPoint slides or you can use um, a Word document. It's all up to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you for your question. Section 2, as I said, it's a formal document, an academic report, which is titled, How Did We Get Here? The Rise of Modern Medicine. Okay, so it's an academic report. That's why it requires um, references. Even this section 1 will require references. Okay, so we use Harvard reference, and a maximum of 10 references can be used. So here I said a maximum, not a minimum. So you can use less than 10, but for this document, it's mostly you can use 10 references. Um, so here, so even if you go beyond, now if I've said this, now I'll clarify this also. So even if you go beyond 10, that's okay. Okay, so but ideally 10 are fine. So 10 is okay. Um, how did we get here? The rise of modern medicine. You should ensure that you include the following information here. So this gives a brief analysis of history of dissection and how this has contributed to current dissection practices. So it's evolution. This you will get from your documents that you have we've sent across for you to study. Identify key laboratory made medicines created in early medicine and analyze their importance. The third bit is a summary of attitudes towards health and medicine that range from the patient knows best approach in early modern medicine. The fourth bit is to an analysis of how the information in your timeline has contributed to the doctor's knows best attitude towards health. Here you can create headings, subheadings based on the information that you're required to include. Word count is 1500. Okay, so 1500 for this, 500 for the previous document. So for the previous section, so it's a total of 2000 words. Okay, please make sure that when you copy paste things, always rewrite that in your own words. Okay, so when you're copy pasting, make sure that whatever you're copy pasting has been rewritten in your own words so that you do not lose marks based on plagiarism. So there's no, you should be knowing that there's a policy of within the UK Versity and play if the document is found to be, sorry, I'm taking your attendance here. So if the document is found to be plagiarized in any way, um, that document will be sent back to you, uh, and they'll ask you to do it all over again. Okay. So let me just save this attendance. Just a minute. Okay. So that's about this assignment. So section 1 and section 2. Section 1 is a timeline and section 2 is this brief analysis of dissection and a history of dissection, key laboratory made medicines that contributed to early modern medicine, summary of attitudes towards health and medicine. And you'll focus on, so here you're focusing on patient knows best approach. And the fourth bit is focusing on doctors know best approach. So make sure you use headings and subheadings, bullet points when you're doing your document, when you're writing your assignment. This is for both uh, the sections. And also make sure that when you're doing your assignment, if it's a Word document, you are using this template. I just shared the assignment brief with you. Where did it go? Yeah. So I'll just show you this, how this will work. So now that you have, I hope this is visible to you all. So when you use this Word document, you're actually working on the same document, okay? You don't need extra Word documents here. So you're working primarily on this document where you give your details, and then at here you have the assignment brief, and then you have the first section, and then you have the second section. This is for us to assess you. Okay, so this is the assignment brief that we've just discussed now. Any questions? So, coming towards the dates for this assignment, this submission. So we have discussed this assignment on the 18th, which is a Saturday, 18th of January. So your date of submission should be on the 1st of February, which will be a Saturday again. So we allow 2 weeks of time. So you have 1 week, which is till the 25th, and the second week is till the 1st. So your assignment deadline, your assignment submission deadline is on the 1st of February. Is that clear? If anyone needs more time for themselves to complete the assignments, let's say um, they've just joined the course and they're doing previous assignments and they need more time, please email us on UK Versity.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so if there are no questions, I shall let you go. Okay, so the recordings for this session will be available to you on